Welcome back to the next one from the previous one that I was talking about. This tool over here. As you can see, this is the Snap-on Verus. Kind of like old school tool, if I would say. Kind of like dating back to early 2000s, late 90s, I would say. Sort of around there. Genius tool in its time. Still is, in my opinion. Kind of like you can do, shitloads of stuff with this tool. But yeah, the thing I was talking about the previous video is to like consider yourself getting one of these, or not necessarily the Verus, maybe the Snap-on. If you're trying to look for a Snap-on Vantage Pro, that's a 2-channel oscilloscope, where this one is kind of like 4-channel over here. So I don't know if you can see that. So 4-channel, and then you go obviously your ground over there. But yeah, if you're on a budget and then you want to get into like oscilloscope and stuff like that, I mean, I was in between Pico and getting one of these old school Snap-on diagnostic tools. Pico, kind of like if you want to get the standard kit and then get some accessories and all of that, it will come up to like, I don't know, like maybe £1,500 or something like that. Kind of like, I mean, I can afford it if I dig in deep enough, but it's just I didn't want to go crazy about it because I'm still learning about all this stuff. I suppose along with you guys. So I kind of like was looking out for these. I was initially looking for a Vantage Pro, but unfortunately for some weird reason, I mean, I don't know in UK, but I couldn't find any Vantage Pro up for sale. I mean, I was looking eBay, Facebook Marketplace, yada, yada, yada. Any kind of like online store that you can see where people post up for stuff for sale. But yeah, I couldn't find any Vantage Pro. I don't know why. I could find loads of Veruses, and I found this guy local for my job. He put this up for sale because apparently he got the Zeus, which is kind of like the replacement diagnostic tool for this. And then he obviously didn't need the Verus anymore, so got a good price on this. So if you look hard enough, you can get one of these for, I would say, probably like £800, £700. I mean, there's people that put them out as like £2,000 or something like that. I don't know their condition, but I wouldn't pay. I would pay roughly maximum maybe like £1,000, depending on how many accessories it has. Me, I was real lucky with this one. I got this. It came with a spare battery, obviously the test leads and all the other bits. Didn't come with a charger though. It came with the, the kind of like, I don't have the charger with me, but it's basically a battery charger that you can hook up with the tool onto the car while you're working to kind of like keep some of the battery, kind of like charging it a little bit. But the proper charger to obviously charge the battery at full. It didn't come one, so the downside with getting a tool like this is gonna be parts, charger. I tried to look up for online, couldn't really find any Snap-on charger for this Verus, and the ones I think I did find was like crazy price. So what I ended up doing is getting a Chinesium, not Chinesium, like El Cheapo charger from Amazon, kind of like an adjustable volt one. I don't know why I misspelled that one, but anyway, because basically with this tool, I don't know if you can see in the back, if I get up close, right in, it's got a big sticker, 12 to 17 volts, 52 watts, 3.5 amps max. So if you put a charger that's, the rating is more than that, you can potentially fry and then mess up the tool, which is pointless buying in the first place. But anyway, I mean, where you want the tool or your charger to work is anything above 16 volts. Basically, it's overcoming the resistance of the battery to charge the tool. I usually put mine at 16.5 volts. That's fine. It charges up the tool, no problem. I'll probably put a picture on that charger, kind of like somewhere here, because I haven't got it with me now. But when I'm going to edit the video, I'm going to put one over there. 20 quid again. I bought it for Amazon. Nothing too fancy over there. Obviously, is it going to last forever? No. If it doesn't, I can get another one. £20. What's to talk about? Looking at the tool, being old as it is, because like I said, this one dates back to early 2000s. It ain't going to be as fast as in like, when you start it up, the boot time to open kind of like takes a couple of minutes. Is it a problem? You know, for me, I'm okay, I'm patient, I don't really mind. Some people, they want to get straight forward to the job. So, you know, I know time is money. But if you're that kind of like, you know, you want to be that quick, then this tool ain't probably for you if you're not patient enough. But really kind of like, really skookum tool, you can do loads of stuff. Obviously being the Verus, it is a scan tool and a scope. But me, I'm going to be talking about the scope function. As if you're looking to get a Vantage Pro, which is kind of like, it would be cheaper compared to the Verus. The downside with those is a 2-channel scope, not a 4-channel, but ideally 2-channel scope would be fine 90% of the time, unless, you know, you come into that one circumstance that you need to use a 3rd channel or 4th channel, then yes, preferably this one would be better. As in for kind of like the leads and accessories and all of that, that one I'm going to do on a separate video. But obviously you would have your standard leads that come with the tool, or, you know, depending on where you get it from. I mean, the guy that I bought it from, decent, not decent, nice guy, nice chap. You know, you can kind of like get a feel of how the tools conditions is going to be when you go to like the guys, I mean, whoever's going to, you know, selling. Me, I went to the guy, you know, the guy looked organized and stuff like that, serious technician. So, you know, you can see the tool is in good nick, came with the accessories and stuff like that. So, you know, real happy about that one. Obviously, you know, if you go to the seller and then you see this tool is kind of like, you know, chunk is missing from here or whatever, you know, it's not in good condition, yeah, you might want to, you know, give that a second thought. But I mean, you know, ideally diagnostic tools should be taken, or any tool should be taken good care after. If not, I would say don't bother wasting your time. Parts on these are, you know, God knows where you can find them, and then if you got the knowledge to fix them. So, you know, just find a good one in the first place where you can, and then, you know, go from there. Another downside to not this but the Vantage is going to be difference. This is being a scope and the Vantage being a scope. The Vantage Pro or the Vantage, it is a graphene multimeter, whereas this one is a lap scope as well. Difference is so for instance, I'll go like volts DC just to show you. With the graphene meter is with the graphene meter, the details are kind of like the frames per second, or not per second, but, you know, the frames that you can get per kind of like time, whatever time you're on, is less than kind of like being the lap scope in this one. So if you're really looking for detail, Verus is going to be a better option. But the graphene multimeter is really skookum as well, so don't let that kind of like put you off of getting a, you know, a Vantage Pro. I would personally, if I found one and then it was like reasonably priced, I like them. They seem skookum. One thing as well I forgot to mention is the Verus, it is a touchscreen, whereas the Vantage Pro is kind of like buttons. So, you know, if you're used to touchscreens, you know, it's going to be a bit of annoying to go back to buttons. But yeah, it is more of a luxury, but it's got to do, you know, a thing for, you know, if you get used to touchscreen, yeah, you can work with buttons. Obviously this one has some buttons, but whereas, you know, this one I can like change the settings from over here. The Vantage Pro, I will need to like have a roll over here or whatever, and then, you know, go down, left, whatever, right, and then press OK, and then, you know, you can still do loads of stuff. But yeah, the things that I want to talk about, kind of like the difference in the graphene meter and the lap scope, is going to be in the settings. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see here, if I go into settings, probably not really close, but yeah, with the graphene meter, the lowest one I can go is up to like 1 second, which is, you know, you can do a lot of stuff with that one. Is way faster than, you know, a multimeter, you know, the regular one, my Fluke and stuff like that. But if I were to, for instance, go back on a lap scope, you know, again, it doesn't need to be volts DC, could be anything. If I go on my time frame over here again, I don't know if you can see that, probably. So you can see I got my 1 second over there, then I'm jumping into milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, going even less to this yeah, 400 ms, which is this one. I forgot the name of it, but it's even smaller than a millisecond. So if you're really looking for a detail, yeah, lap scope is gonna be your go-to. But again, don't let graphing multimeter put you off. You can do loads of stuff. It's just this one, it takes more samples per kind of like time as with the graphing multimeter, which kind of like, you know, makes this a kind of like higher spec tool than the Vantage Pro. Obviously, I mean, the ones that kind of like are the replacements is, you know, for the Verus is the Zeus, which is again a 4-channel scan tool. For the Vantage Pro is the Tryon, which is kind of like a 2-channel scope again, and I think a scan tool. And then I don't know whether it is the Modus or the Solus. I think the Solus is just the scan tool. You got the replacement, that's the Apollo. You don't want to get the Apollo or the Solus. I believe it's the Solus that's basically a scan tool, because you know you ain't gonna have the functions of an oscilloscope. So yeah, you want to be looking out for Vantage Pro, Verus. I mean all the kind of like limited edition or kind of like Verus Ultra, and then all the other kind of like models, which is basically some kind of like minor updates or minor changes. You know, if you still get the Verus, still the Verus, still a scope. The nice thing about these that makes them a still is, you know, being a scan tool, you know, depending on what version it is. Mine is the, I think, 15.2 version that goes up to like 2014. That doesn't affect the use of the tool in being an oscilloscope. It's still an oscilloscope. You still got your kind of like your scales and everything. You can still use this as an oscilloscope, because whatever update it was, whatever updates it is in, that's basically data for the scan tool. Doesn't have to do anything with the oscilloscope. So that's why these kind of tools are kind of like a steal for money, compared to getting a new one, or you know, investing in something. I mean, I would invest in Pico. I really like Pico. I mean, I got some stuff on Pico I'm going to show on the next video. But yeah, getting the Pico, the downside is you need some sort of like laptop or anything, something to connect it to, so you have a, you know, screen to look at things. And then just to get the standard kit, 4-channel one, I think it comes down to like 13 to 1500 pounds. I mean, I can't remember. So, you know, with some accessories and stuff, you know, that ain't really cheap if you ask me. Whereas this, I mean, you can get these for around 800, maybe to £1,000. I mean, I got this for a steal. I got roughly like about 600 pounds. But yeah, 700 pounds. I mean, you know, that's kind of like half the money if you ask me. And you're getting a scan tool as well. But yeah, pretty much that's the kind of like small introduction to this. Again, I'm still learning from this tool. So much to learn. I mean, these tools, they're like, Jesus, the things where I want to say ahead of its time, but you know when you talk about Snap-on and then you think like, oh, they're overpriced. Some of the tools, such as this, if you know how to use them, then they're spot on for the money, because the things that you can do with these tools is mind-blowing. That's all I gotta say. I'll leave you for this video, guys. Kind of like a small introduction, maybe a little bit small, too big introduction. But yeah, next time obviously we'll talk about different leads and then different stuff that you can do with the 4-channel scope over here, or kind of like I would say over here. But anyway, that was the video, guys. I'll see ya in the next one.